In this video, I'll be going over all the new stuff in the Portrait of Murder DVD chapter. Let's begin with the new killer, the artist. Taking a look at her attributes, she has the standard 32 meter tear radius and 4.6 meter movement speed that most killers do, so she's not too bad at running loops while her power's on cooldown. Speaking of which, you may want to pause the video here to read her power description, because it is somewhat complex, but I'll try to explain how it works. Holding the power button charges the killer's ability. Tapping the basic attack button summons a dire crow. These spooky crow ghosties will remain where you summon them until you command them to take flight by pressing the secondary ability button. Up to 3 crows can be summoned at once, but the ability cooldown increases for each one summoned. Dire crows will deal damage to the first survivor they hit, but only if the survivor is within the distance of the flight path, and only if they're not behind a wall. Survivors who are struck by crows who are either too far from the flight path or behind a wall will take no damage but become swarmed by crows. If a survivor is struck again while already being swarmed, they'll take damage regardless of the distance or line of sight requirements. And finally, if a survivor is close to a flock of crows as it passes by, the crows will trigger killer instinct on the survivor, revealing them to the killer. So that's the artist's power. But what about her perks? Let's begin with Grim Embrace. After hooking each survivor one time, all generators will become blocked for 30 seconds, and the Obsession's aura will be revealed for a short time. This perk can help slow the game down a little, and combos well with other Obsession perks. Her second perk is Hex Pentimento. This allows the killer to turn broken totems into rekindled totems. For every rekindled totem, an additional debuff is applied to the survivor team. This perk can slow the game down quite a bit, even with just one rekindled totem. But if the survivor team doesn't cleanse any totems, you're not going to be able to rekindle them. And the artist's final perk is Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. This turns 4 random hooks into Scourge Hooks. Anytime a survivor is hooked on one of these, the generator with the largest amount of progress regresses by 15%, and any survivors working on that generator reveal their locations to the killer. This is a viable substitute for other slowdown perks, but the random placement of the Scourge Hooks could make it inconsistent in some matches. So those are the artist's perks. But what about her add-ons? The artist has a nice variety of add-ons that do more than just tweak a few numbers. From reducing her ability cooldown to exposing survivors hit by her power, the array of add-ons here should allow players to experiment with various build ideas. So that wraps up the new killer, but what about the new survivor? His name is Jonah Vasquez, a mathematician, and with him he brings 3 unique perks. The first one is Overcome. This is an exhaustion perk that extends the duration of the speed boost survivors receive after being injured. While this perk's condition is easy to meet, players may struggle to activate it against killers with one-shot attacks. Jonah's second perk is Corrective Action. When repairing a generator with an ally, any skill checks they miss will be turned into good skill checks. While it sounds nice not having to worry about your teammates' screw-ups, the use case for this one seems rather narrow. And Jonah's last perk is Boon Exponential. After blessing a totem, this perk grants 100% increased recovery speed while in the dying state, and allows survivors within its radius to get back up without the help of a teammate. It's basically unbreakable for your entire team, which is definitely strong, but situational. So that wraps up the new survivor, but what about the new map? The Eyrie of Crows is the artist's signature map. It's a bright, high-visibility wasteland that features a giant column and tree in the center that harbors a crow's nest. Survivors can use the multi-floored building as cover and to loop the killer. Outside the building, long sightlines and no foliage means the killer shouldn't have much trouble fighting survivors. And finally, what are my thoughts about the new chapter? Let's begin with the killer. I quite enjoyed playing as the artist. Her power is interesting and has multiple ways players can use it. Scouting generators, tracking survivor movements, patrolling gates, slowing the game down, and denying windows and pallets make it a versatile power that can help in almost any situation the killer finds himself in. In her current state, I'd probably rank her as an A-tier killer. She's strong, but can only ignore game mechanics in certain situations. As for her perks, all of them seem viable to me, but her best appears to be Scourge Hook Pain Resonance. Activating a slightly weaker version of Popgo's Weasel upon hooking a survivor makes it a very attractive option. The only problem is that the Scourge hook may not be in a reachable position when carrying a survivor, so it is somewhat luck-based. As for Jonah's perks, Overcome and Boon Exponential seem like they could become meta perks, while Corrective Action is probably going to be ignored. Getting a guaranteed exhaustion proc upon being hit, and giving your team a way to revive themselves in situations where multiple allies are slugged, seem like strong reasons to pick these perks over others. So overall, I'm happy with the content this chapter offered. The killer, while not groundbreakingly unique, has a power that's fun to use, and can be applied in many different situations. And the survivor's perks may create a new meta for Dead by Daylight. But anyways, that's basically the new chapter and my thoughts about it. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to subscribe for future content.